Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, we're officially in the off season. Now, we've done this on the YouTube channel, but of course, this is a podcast for you exclusive podcast subscribers, so make sure you subscribe right now wherever you're listening to this. So I wanted to kind of go over the press conference, go to the end of the season press conference with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone. I know it's been about a week, but, just some important takeaways in case you didn't really watch it. And Boone was on for about 30 minutes, taking some questions, and Cashman came after that for about 40 minutes. No big reveals, but just the fact that it kind of confirms that, again, both Cashman and Boone will be staying. People speculating whether Howell just want a clean house after this way the Yankees were swept by the Astros. I said originally, in previous episodes that it wasn't going to be the case. You just didn't get that feeling, and it kind of confirms that. And just for the fact that Cashman was doing this press conference technically after his contract expired, which was October 31st. So technically he's working like off the books or working for free. So this goes to show you the relationship just then and there, the way he's just doing this, acting as the general manager while he's not technically even on the contract. Now, he has done this in the past, but still this goes to show probably the strength of that relationship between Cashman and the Steinbrenner family, and of course Cashman with the Yankee organization. And he's been there for the better part of across 4 decades. I think he started off as some sort of young staffer back in the late 80s. So, again, he has a pretty deep footprint there. So, I wasn't all that shocked that he was going to be called back. And, of course, Boone, didn't make sense that they would blame him for the loss. And, again, he's Cashman's guy. They just gave him a 3-year deal before that. Okay, they could fire Boone, but you still have to pay him for another 2 years. And I just don't think they're going to want to flush money like that when, there's some things you could point to Boone, some mistakes he made. But overall, I don't think it was his fault. And similar, I just think Cashman did the best he could. It's just, I think the Yankees were just too overwhelmed. Too many guys went down with injuries. And again, just facing a better Houston team there. You would like to take a game or two, but hey, you got swept. But nevertheless, you weren't going to beat Houston either way. So to go nuts and clean house, I understand. Hey, look, they haven't won anything since 2009. But at the same point, too, you look at Boone himself. I meant his first 2 years, he wins over 100 games. 2021, obviously 2020 is the COVID shortened season. So, obviously you don't have an opportunity to win 100 games, but at least it gets the team in the playoffs. Okay, they get bounced by Tampa. And then last year, again, not the greatest of years, but they do make the wild card, being in the playoff hunt there because they don't win 100 games. But at least, again, Aaron Boone could at least put his chest and say, hey, look, my first 5 years as Yankee manager, I got this team in the playoffs every year. Not too many people could say that. But nevertheless, this press conference is going to be about, the 2 players you figured that they were going to bring up the most, and that was kind of Falefa and Donaldson. Just the questions by the press, those seem to be the 2 players that the press probably feels responsible for the Yankees' woes. And I feel like kind of Falefa did not have really a good postseason in terms of his in fielding. And it was kind of a bit of a merry-go-round. You saw Cabrera in there a little bit. You saw Peraza in there a little bit. So it just seemed like a little bit of a merry-go-round. And you saw IKF make a couple of key errors, especially that Game 3 that they lost in Cleveland. Kind of Falefa made 3 bad plays in that game there. Also made a bad play in Game 1 as well. And that ended up costing the Yankees. But this fact, he was kind of sloppy in the field. So the press kind of, made him as one of the GOATs for this series. And, of course, Donaldson, who just looked completely had nothing, no life in him at the plate there. Again, gave you good defense, okay, as what you expect. But those were the 2 ones that I guess Boone and Cashman fielded the most questions on. And I guess Boone had defended them both. Now with Donaldson, he kind of mentioned that, hey, look, we had the lockout early in the season. Again, with took a while to get a new collective bargaining agreement in there. And just figure, look, Donaldson's a veteran player. He didn't get his normal reps in and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. Therefore, he never really got the bat going, and he would have little glimpses during the season. We figure, all right, now he's going to get started, but then he would have a step back. So kind of made the excuse machine for Donaldson there. Again, he's kind of the player's manager, so you expect him to do that. And he mentioned with kind of Falefa that, hey, look, we look at analytics, we look at his fielding, stuff like that, and he's just as good as anybody, blah, 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 blah. So, again, that was best what Boone was able to do that. Now, it's interesting, the point Cashman made on that one with kind of Falefa, kind of brought up the young guys such as Volpe, and more or less kind of confirmed that, kind of Falefa is just a placeholder until Volpe is ready. So, you probably figure that if there were deals out there to be made, such as Luis Castillo, I guess Cashman felt that his, big shortstop prospect was worth keep holding on there. He kind of, touted out there Volpe's name to sort of like, hey, look, he's our future, stuff like that. Kind of Falefa, I know he's just a placeholder until Volpe gets ready. So that kind of the signal right there when people might have asked, why couldn't you go after Castillo? Why couldn't you make maybe bigger splashes during the trade deadline is like, hey, maybe teams were asking for Volpe, and that was his hands off for him. And that apparently seems the gamble he's going to make there, and we'll see if that pays off for the future. Also interesting with Boone just kind of reiterated that, the bullpen, mainly Clay Holmes, was hurt. I mean, we kind of figured that already. So he kind of mentioned that he was working with an antiquated bullpen as it is. And, there were, just the way, Holmes had to shut him down the last 6 games of regular season. Didn't really want to use him in that game 3 there situation. Instead of opting to go with Clark Schmidt in a big spot there, which really should have been Clay Holmes. But again, they didn't want to use Holmes for 2 games in a row there. So you knew Holmes was hurt, and more or less Boone confirmed that. And then on the Cashman front, a couple of interesting day. Again, the comments about the shortstop, with the plans for Volpe there for the future. As well, just mentioned Matt Carpenter that, he was technically ready for that final series against Texas in the regular season. But again, Carpenter elected to go to the off-field site in Florida. Figure he'll get more bats there because it kind of makes sense. Even if you do start a game in Texas, there you're only going to get maybe 3 or 4 at bats per game. Whereas if he just goes to the off-field site in Tampa, there at least he could face more live hitting, more live action, try to get his bat in tune. But nevertheless, was all for nothing. Again, he just looked totally unprepared, not really unprepared, just overmatched against the Houston pitching staff. And again, he had his first plate appearance, I think it was 9 strikeouts before he finally got a hit. And I believe it was game 3 there in the 5-0 blowout there. So again, it's an interesting little point there on Carpenter. And as for Judge, again, they're all not indicating any way, but they kind of just felt the body language and the way I was speaking about him. I think they're going to really try everything humanly possible to bring him back. So just based on the way they sounded, right now I'd put about 65 to 70% chance that Judge is back in a Yankee uniform. Just the way that, the way that Cashman's working as a Yankee GM when he's not out of contract, and the way they're all speaking about each other, it seems like, again, very highly possibly Judge would be back. And again, if you look at the other teams that could be out there to get him, again, anyone could just slip in the back door. But what really makes sense for other teams, and I know the team everyone's speaking about is the San Francisco Giants. Well, Judge grew up a Giants fan. Obviously, they're a team that's looking to make a leap there, and bringing a big name like Judge would do that. But if you look at the Giants, I mean, are they ready yet? This season they finished in 3rd place at 81-81. Dodgers, of course, finished 30 games better, and they're still going to be phenomenal next season. We'll see if they bring Kershaw back there or not. But also now they got San Diego above them, and this is not different San Diego team that started last year. Again, now this is a San Diego team that has Juan Soto. So now you have Soto, Machado in that lineup there, and they were kind of an up-and-coming team. So, if you're the Giants, yeah, great, you could bring in Judge, but you're going to have to bring in a lot more to even leapfrog the 2nd-place team. Not that you forget about even thinking about the Dodgers. So I don't think they're going to go after Judge because Judge is 30. All right, you could sign him to a long-term deal. You figure, all right, it's going to probably take maybe 2 or 3 seasons for the Giants to legitimately be a contender. I mean, really strong contender there. And at that point, you're kind of burning Judge for 3 years. And great, now you bring some pieces around him. Maybe you have some couple guys in your farm system. But I don't know if it's worth this, kind of laying Judge around for 3 years until you really, really get good. Unless the Giants feel they're closer than that. I mean, yeah, you could go on a big spending spree, which again, the Giants have a lot of money coming off the books, but they're a team that's still about 2 or 3 years away. And just to sign Judge, put fannies in the seats, I don't think it's not worth it. So they might not be really a contender. Dodgers may make some more sense because of the Dodgers. They're crazy. They spend money and they don't care, and it's a big star attraction. And they could possibly woo Judge. So I think even the Dodgers might be a bigger threat than the Giants. But again, we'll see how that all plays out. Of course, the Yankees, a lot of them electing free agency. We all know, of course, Judge, the big name there. You have Chad Green, who again went down early this year with Tommy John. Chapman, which we know, and goodbye and good riddance. Britton went down, so he also elected for free agency. Marwin Gonzalez, Matt Carpenter, Jameson Taillon, kind of a stable starter there. Now, the Yankees did pick up the club option on Luis Severino, so they had a 2023 option for $15 million. I think that's good. Again, he proved himself. I mean, yeah, he missed a chunk of the season, but he was good in his 2 playoff starts. I know he gave the 3-run home run to Bregman, but overall he was good for the Yankees, and he has been good for the Yankees overall in the postseason. So for $15 million, again, you just got to hope he could stay healthy for a full season, but I think that's a good deal for them. Now, opting out of his deal, which we all kind of expected, was Anthony Rizzo, which, again, he signed a 2-year deal, but with a 1-year opt-out. But, of course, the season he had, hitting 31 home runs, really putting a stamp there. You knew he was going to opt out to get a better deal. Now, it's not really a big surprise. And, Cashman also mentioned in the press conference, one of the key points there, that he almost kind of expected to happen, but he said he still would like to retain him. So, even if he opts out, that doesn't mean he's gone. He just wants probably a longer term deal, maybe a 4 or 5 year deal. And it seems like Cashman would be open discussing that. So again, just because he opted out does not mean he's gone. He could still very well come back. And again, the way Cashman was speaking about him, I think they're also going to try very hard to get Rizzo back. I think they liked him. They liked him from the start. He just seems like to fit in really good with the Yankee uniform. Of course, you like his defense, you like his at bats, and all that stuff. So, and of course, combining him with Judge, at some point, somewhere back to back in the lineup there, this yields a lot of positive results. So again, I think they're going to try to also keep Rizzo. In terms of who they keep and let go, I would be open if they could bring Tyone back on a reasonable deal. You look at the Yankees next season, you still have Montos, even though he was a disappointment, but he's going to be there in the rotation. Of course, you have Nestor Cortez, you have Garrett Cole in the contract. We'll see if Herman, if he's a factor or not. But, it's not like they need Tyone, but I think they would like, he performed, he pitched well enough. I think he was decent in his 2 years in the Yankee uniform. I think he can handle it here. So, I wouldn't be against, again, as long as it's not a ridiculous contract, I wouldn't be totally against him coming here. But that's one of the things we've been seeing. But this seems like it's the two big names, Rizzo and Judge. Again, just based on the way Cashman was speaking about them, is going to try everything possible to bring them back at a reasonable as possible there. So we'll just cross fingers and hope on that. And if Judge himself getting a couple awards, the Hank Aaron Award, which you expect, and for most impressive offensive player, and that's that for the Yankees. And I think of all the guys, the bullpen guys that should come back. Also, Miguel Castro, sorry to mention him, he's also a free agent. I don't think any of them really worthwhile to bring back. I mean, Chad Green's coming off Tommy John. I mean, I know I liked him as a Yankee, but I just don't want someone coming back just from an injury like that and possibly re-hurting themselves. I'd rather people that are not hurt and established, so like that. So I would not have him think about bringing back Chad Green. I would not think about bringing Zach Britton. Again, I liked him, but hurt too much for the Yankees. You spent a lot of money off them, so I just like to see them go elsewhere. Because Chapman, there's no way. I don't know if anyone in baseball might want to take a flyer on him. In terms of offensive players, of course, Benintendi as well, lefty for free agency. Would not want Benintendi back. Again, he's a good player, but again, had that wrist injury, and it's just I don't know how strong that wrist is going to be next season, so I would not risk money on there. The only one that I would kind of maybe kick the tires and bring back in terms of an offensive player is maybe Matt Carpenter. Now, you're probably not going to – I don't know if you're going to get the wonder Roy Hobbs, Matt Carpenter, that's kind of surprised us all this season. But at age 37, he's not going to command a big contract. So you could probably bring him in for 1 year, $1 million or $2 million, just to, all right, let's see if he still got it. And if he doesn't, fine, you can just cancel him, release him, and you only lost $1 or $2 million. So he's not going to ask for a lot of years. So I would think about maybe bringing him back just to see. Again, just kind of kick the tires there on that one. So pitching-wise, Tyone, I'd be open to bring back. And then in terms of the offensive players, I'd be open to bringing back Carpenter. And, of course, I would like to see them maybe give a deal to both Judge and Rizzo. So those guys, like the other guys can, don't let the door hit. Not that I have anything against them, but, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Sort of deal there. Maybe being a little nasty. But so nevertheless, so that's kind of the big takeaways. You had the Boone and Cashman press conference. Again, the press probably vilified ICAF and Donaldson the most, just based on the questions he asked. But, of course, as we know, probably both of them will be back the next season just because Donaldson has 1 year left on that deal at $25 million. If the Yankees could find a way to move him, but you're talking about a lot of money the Yankees are going to have to eat. I just don't know if they're going to be willing to. And, of course, kind of Fluff will probably still be back. And, again, kind of a placeholder until Volpe, they feel, is ready for shortstop there. And you've got and the Yankees have some options. Let's see how it goes along there. If they happen to move those guys, maybe put IKF to play third base and then have Peraza or Cabrera at shortstop to at least start the season in 2023. But remains to be seen there. And again, the Yankees have some other, quote unquote, dead weight to worry about. You still have the Hicks contract. I think he has another 2 years left. You're paying him about $10 million a year, and good, his body looks shot this season. I don't know if he has it left to really be a good quality outfielder. So that's going to be very interesting. And you got to worry about DJ LeMahieu. Now, he did get a Gold Glove for the utility man, as you know, but he's damaged goods right now. And again, another good point from the Cashman part of the press conference that he mentioned that LeMahieu still hasn't addressed the injury. So he has, again, the fracture in the foot. Now, they still haven't decided yet whether they go for surgery or quote unquote non-surgical, treatment, try to get him ready for spring training. But just the fact that he still has this injury is problematic. And you have to look at me, he's 34 years old now, and this is 2 years in a row that the Yankees, he wasn't there for the Yankees the last games of the year when they needed him the most. And you have to worry about him. Again, he's a fan favorite. We all like him. We all wanted him back. But now, this is a situation where, he's almost like a damaged goods guy that you now have to worry about for the next 3 or 4 seasons. Can his body hold up? He looks like it's breaking down. So, and, they had him see 3 specialists. They still haven't decided yet. But again, it just looks like we're never going to see the full, complete, healthy, machine DJ LeMahieu that we remember from 2018, 2019, 2020, and so forth. It seems like that guy's not there. Unfortunately, he just has had injuries past couple of seasons. The foot injury this season, last season had the hip issue, had the appendix issue as well. And his whole it's so you look at Donaldson, Hicks, and LeMahieu. Here's three guys, well into their 30s, making significant money, and just not giving the value in the field. And is Cash going to find a way to move them out? We'll see. So those are some of the questions to be asked there. So hope you like the episode. Section 420 Talking Yankees. Again, we're going to be a long way to hear the entire offseason. So remember, hit the like or subscribe button and get notified when new episodes come up. Catch you next time.